What do you do when you're done learning? Hello, YouTube. This is Dr. Dave Maslock. I'm talking to you about reciprocity.com, the sharing economy proofreading software. But today I wanted to talk about what do you do when you are done learning. We are often faced with these situations where all of a sudden you think that you are running out of things to talk about. You get what is called technological exhaustion, that there's just not a lot of opportunities that are available to or experiences to learn from. And then you're just like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what's the next thing that I should do in life. I actually wanted to draw upon, I'm a professor of innovation, entrepreneurship, and strategy at a large state institution in Florida. You could check me out. I'm a real person. Um, and I want to talk about, I actually study learning from failure and how organizations improve from experience. And I want to talk about one of my colleagues at Brigham Young University, Peter Madsen, and a couple of other folks, Robin Dillon and Catherine Tinsley. I think they're at Georgetown University. They're doing some really cool research on learning from airplane or airline accidents. And their research is based on, there's actually a fairly long stream of research in the literature on learning from negative events and learning from failure in organizations that have looked at airline accidents going all the way back to about 2002, perhaps even earlier, that I might not be aware of. There's a whole large literature, but in the literature I'm aware of, it goes back to 2002. Pamela Haunschild and Bilian Sullivan had a great paper about the airlines, or the number of adverse events, number of problems that airlines experience per miles flown have decreased substantially over a number of decades. There's what is called a learning curve. For those of you who don't know what a learning curve is, and sometimes you hear about this is where the unit of performance is gradually improving over time with experience. So it's sometimes it's with time, but it's often with experience. The number of units that are being currently produced, number of operating experiences that you have. What you see, I'm going to try to sort of point this out as much as possible as I can on this. What you see is a decrease in number of problems over time given the unit of experience. So that's the number of air miles that are flown in airlines. And this is a phenomenal thing. This is great, right? That we no longer have airline accidents. I'm sure you can only think of a couple in the last decade that you are aware of, that there was major disasters. And that is largely due to much of organizational learning, and as well as sort of industry organizational learning or industry-based learning that happens. So the FAA, for example, they do all sorts of accidents investigations. They bring on board when there is an accident investigation, and on a routine basis, they have meetings all the time. They're talking to all the different airlines, they're talking to the different unions, and they're making sure that everybody's working together to make sure it's very, very safe. And that the industry is improving as a whole, not just specific airlines. And we're gradually improving at each time that somebody goes up in an airplane, which is great. That's what we want to do. However, what they point out in their paper, and they're analyzing what are called near failures. What they point out in their paper, and I'll get into that in a minute, what they're pointing out in their paper is that these experiences are decreasing, the number of failure experiences are decreasing over time, which just creates a really interesting problem. How we actually learn is when we have these failure experiences to learn from. But if they're decreasing over time, because we're getting better, airlines are getting better over time, that there's less and less experiences to actually learn from, which we're presented with this problem. Well, how do we do? What do we do at this moment? Now, what they point out in their paper, and they actually have a series of papers, what they point out is that there is what you can do instead of learning from these sort of catastrophic events, these accidents that are happening, whether there's a death or something like that, an airline death, what airlines are doing is they are recording what are called near failures. These are particular events that are not necessarily sort of catastrophic or failures, but they could have been a catastrophic failure. So they're trying to record these, and what they're doing is they're using these near failures. So they, instead of looking at sort of catastrophic events when they occur, what they are doing is recording it as looking at these particular near failures, and they're sort of shifting their mindset, and they're looking at sort of probably more of a fine-grained understanding of what failure or experience is. And so this is a really novel way to think about this, in they're suggesting that yes, organizations can learn from these near failures, but it's tricky. There's all sorts of different implications and different different problems that come about of near failure. So you can get into, there's a whole literature on this that's really quite fascinating as well. But what it suggests in terms of when you're running out of things to learn and running out of things to do, and you're like, oh, I just don't know what to do, I'm running out of all these different options, what you can do is actually shift the perspective that you have and start focusing on sort of probably more fine-grained details of something. So if you're becoming an expert in one particular domain, say you are a doctor and you're becoming an expert in GP, well, as a general practitioner, maybe you want to focus on a specialty, for example. Get more fine-grained in the experience that you're getting in. So you gradually start focusing in on one particular area. The other thing that you can do is not only focus sort of within the domain that you have, but then as well as look at the experiences in other areas. You can start stretching yourself, right? So maybe you are a doctor and you want to stretch yourself and you go into another area, another domain. Maybe you go into music, and then you start applying the skills that you understand as being a physician and applying those to being a musician. And then you can combine those, right? So a lot of really interesting things and sort of creative things that have happened over the years, and sort of groundbreaking things that have happened, is that there's a combination of particular, there's a recombination of particular experiences or sort of categories of things that have happened in the past, and you can recombine those and create all sorts of new things to learn from. So you can continuously learn over time, and you can actually not run out of things just by looking at these different combinations, as well as looking sort of more at fine-grained experiences, or looking at things that could have happened but didn't happen. So if you like these videos, if you want to help out with this sharing economy proofreading application that I'm trying to build, you can check it out. You go online, reciprocity.com. The E is spelled with a 3. You can just go on there and look at it. Every time you do that, it definitely helps out with making it appear in sort of the search engines, but as well, it's helping, giving me feedback in that this is actually something useful and people actually want it. The other thing that you can do is you can go and subscribe to the videos. I'm trying to do like maybe a 90-day, 100-day challenge, YouTube challenge, where I'm trying to put up videos every single day to make sure that I get the word out there. So subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like this kind of stuff, what I am talking about. And for those of you who are already subscribed, you are cool, you're amazing. And if you want to learn more things, just keep coming back and paying attention to the channel. So thank you so much and have a good day. Take care. Bye.